you can think of. I'm going to do it all. So for today, we are going to start off with a pretty easy one, and one of the more textbook build orders which have been there for a very long time, and we will call it drush-flush. So what is the purpose of this build order and how do you do it? Drushing has been part of the game for as long as the game has been there, and today we're going to learn how to do a drush and then follow it up with a flush. So we're going to start off on Arabia, picking Saracen as always because it has basically 0 eco bonuses, and we're just going to jump right into the game. So to start off, we have our starting villages. We put 6 on sheep and then scout with the rest. And as all build orders, I am expecting like a little bit of competency on the player's part, which will require them to scout around their map and find most of their early resources. That is a prerequisite of doing any of the build orders that I'm going to be showing everyone. Finding all my resources and finding my opponent. So how do I drush-flush as Saracen, and what is the purpose of drushing? Drushing is there to make like a couple of militias in Dark Age and delay my opponent, and following it up with a feudal rush behind it. So that is usually how like you strategize a drush-flush. What are the good indicators of drushing on particular maps? That usually depends on how does your map look like, where are the resources spawning, do you have a back wood line, back gold, back berries, something of a defensive map where if you do go for a drush, you don't die to a feudal pressure, you can hold on your resources that you're going to be taking. So the first 6 villages stay on sheep, and the 4 villages after that will go to wood, so that we have enough resources to go to feudal age while building a barracks in Dark Age. I'm going to be pushing at least 1 deer. This one requires you to have at least 1 deer. You don't need more than that. You can push 2 deer, but it's just like advisable to push at least a minimum of 1 deer when doing this. This is more on the advanced side of it. You can skip pushing the deer and do like a normal build, but most of the time if you're skipping that 1 deer or 2 deers, you are pushing yourself into a territory where you have to go up to the next stage with 1 extra villager than the build I'm going to be showing. After you have the boar villager, you have 7 under the town center. The next villager also stays under the town center collecting the boar, and the new villager after taking the luring villager goes to make 2 houses towards the general direction of your enemy. Once the deer villager is also finished, you have 8 on the boar, and the next villager goes to take and straggle 10 gold, which will allow you to have 60 gold in total after you click loom, letting you make that 3rd militia and get loom at the same time. Gonna force garrison just a little bit, and this will be when our barracks will be built. So once I have 150 food on my first elephant, I will bring in the other one. And meanwhile, I'm letting all of these villagers stay under the town center. Once the gold villager is done collecting the gold, it will go and take wood, so that I have a total of 5 villagers on wood. This villager makes a house as well once the barracks is completed. Start queuing up militia whenever you have the food for it. You might have to garrison a little bit of food to continuously make militia and villages at the same time. Once I have at least like 11 villages under the town center, which will like come to 12 villages after I bring my house builder to the TC and collect the boar as well. Come on, you can fit it. Maybe I can't. So let's just send it over there. And I'm gonna wait for my 3 militia. Already gonna queue the villagers once they're done with the boar to the sheep. And once I have the 3 militias, I'm immediately going to move out towards my enemy. Once I have 4 on my berries, I don't need any more than that. Now I'm going to click up at 27 population. And while this is happening, I'm also gonna queue up 2 farms.
I don't want to alarm you, but Crusaders are attacking our trade route!
Thanks for the follow. Welcome, welcome. And with the drush, all I want to do is delay my opponent. Just harass, don't fight the drush to the death. Just trade your HP for the villagers and make them not work. That is more important than killing and getting villagers. The drush is there only to harass your opponent's villagers, not to kill them. Killing is bonus. If you find a villager which is like alone and stuff, you can get away with a kill, but that is not a priority. Once you're up, send 6 villagers to other wood lines so that you have 5 over here, 6 on the other, and then 4 villagers or 3 villagers from this TC to a gold mine, so that you have 5 under the TC collecting food. I'll just let this one get finished. 3 on gold, 11 on wood, and that's all you need once you're going up to the feudal age. You can start walling up a little bit. I'm gonna start completing my walls while I'm reaching the feudal age. Maybe like this. Do I want to wall to the edge? Probably I do. I can check this if this is open or not. So I'm making a funnel, and only in front of my base I'm open, but I'll wall it off with my archery range and blacksmith. This is a very this is not a traditional drush-flush. You can play 2 ranges, but this one is like more like adapted to the modern meta, which makes you play like 1 range and walling rather than going for some fancy 2 range and like very heavy aggression. Once you're up to the next stage, try to make your archery range immediately, get the wood upgrade, and all the new villages go to straggler till you have enough till you have enough wood for the blacksmith. And once you have your blacksmith, complete your walls while your blacksmith is being built. And all the new villages. After that, you send 2 new villages to the gold, and that's all you need for the gold to continuously make from 1 range. Okay, getting housed is also, I guess, part of the build at this point. And this is all you need. Get fletching. And once I have 5 on gold, I can start seeding farms. You don't have to worry about getting horse color just yet. Wait for at least 6 farms before you think about getting horse color. You can afford it now, so I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it like at 5 farms. So if we make a count again, 5 on gold, 11 on wood, while I have my 1 range continuously producing archers. You can start mixing in skirmishes, or depending on what you want to follow it up with, you can basically distribute your villages according to what you want to transition into. And once I have at least 3 archers, that is when I would advise you guys to move out. If you're already fully walled, 3 archers should be enough to at least like 4 or 5 shot villagers. If you can sneak them, like send them to a corner towards your enemy's base. So I'm going to sneak them all the way from the edge to my opponent's base. That is what I would want to do. So I'm gonna continuously keep making farms till I have enough food to click up. Now is the time that you can also decide if your opponent is playing heavily into skirmishers. This is the time you can start adding your stable and make a couple of scouts to push their skirmishers back. Open at bottom? I don't think so. Yep, I'm not open. It's walled. So I can start picking off villages. And continuously keep making farms. The number of farms that I would remind you to at least get is something like 16 before you stop making farms. At least 16 farms. I have 16 farms, so all the new villages will now just go to gold. While making sure I'm keeping production with one range. Having 16 on farms plus 4 on berries will let me have 20 villages on food. I just need one more villager, then I can click up. I can add a second range once I have the wood for it, once my farms are done, and I can click up to the next stage. Which will let me have 8 villages on gold. I can remove these 2 villages to the berries and send them to gold, and once these berries are done, I'll send them to wood as well. Replace my lumber camp, and that should be good enough. I don't need to replace this one is still pretty efficient. Try to sneak, get a couple of villager kills with the first few archers. While you're going up, get the armor, get the gold upgrade. And this will allow you to have like a 20-minute castle age timing if you do the build correctly. And once you're up the castle age, you get crossbow and you follow it up with the usual stuff. You can add town centers, you can go for ballistics, and if you want to add another archery range, you should send more villagers to wood or delay new farms. Yeah, delay new farms. Just send them to straggler and delay the farms. Hey Foxpat, what's up? What's going on? Once I'm up to the castle age, I'm going to just show for like 2-3 minutes, and then I'll leave it up to you guys on how you would want to continue. If you're against a lot of skirmishers, what you should be doing is adding one stable while you're going up to the next stage. While having 2 range, add one stable, and once you're up to the castle age, add like 2-3 knights to your army composition while playing crossbows. Once I'm up, I'm going to get bodkin arrow, crossbow, and I'm not going to get like the wood upgrade just yet. I won't want to wait for a 3rd town center if I want to go for that route. And now I'm going to send more villages to wood till I can afford the wood upgrade. I remove 2 villages from gold so that I have only 8 on gold. Continue making crossbows. Move out to my opponent's base. A villager after this, I can get wheelbarrow. Don't reseed any farms. I would rather wait for my wood upgrade and wheelbarrow, which I'm already getting at 42 villages, which is like a consistent wheelbarrow timing that I really like to get at. Once I'm up, crossbow, bodkin, this allows me to have like all those resources, get the wood upgrade, and only when I get the wood upgrade, I can start seeding farms till I have at least like 16 farms for the 3 town centers I have. So if I make a count again, I have 15 farms working. Now I have 16. all the villages go to wood. All 3 of my town centers are basically going to wood now. Till I have enough to sustain the crossbows, while banking enough to get like the next building, which is university, to get ballistics. And once I have enough resources to get ballistics, which cost 300 wood, I can start seeding farms again, because that is where I'm investing my wood. Making sure all 3 of my town centers are producing, while both of my ranges are producing at the same time as well. And the 16 farms lets me have like a consistent food eco. I added one more just to be efficient. And yeah, don't forget to make houses. That's one thing I'm really bad at. Getting ballistics, and once you have the ballistics, you're free to start farming again. And the number of farms is always just going to be 30. If you have 30 farms, you have enough food or enough farms to click up to the Imperial Age. Again, just keeping up with my crossbow mass, making sure I'm spending it all. Now the next question is, which is the second building I'm going to make? Heavy plow? Yeah, you can get it right now before seeding the farms. That's fine as well. If you have the excess resources, probably should get it. I'm gonna add a siege workshop, and I'm gonna send like a couple of 6 to 7 villages to the stone, so that I can eventually get a castle as well. Yeah, basically just completing up my crossbows and everything. Gonna start adding a little bit more to gold, since I have the farms I need. Gonna save up a little bit of wood to get the handcart upgrade. And this will just boost up my economy to get me to Imperial Age soon. Just making sure all my farms are getting produced at the same time. If I can replace them, spending my wood and keeping my wood to the minimum. Once I'm up, I'm also going to get my stone mining and my second gold mining upgrade, once I can afford it. Just making sure my crossbow mass stays alive so that I can upgrade it to the Imperial technologies. So the next step is just waiting for a castle. Once you have enough stone for a castle, you will make castle. And now I'm banking a little bit of wood. I'm gonna add like more production building. Something like 5-6 archery ranges should be more than enough. Getting the armor and the thumb ring upgrade. Only keeping up with 3 town centers, and that will still let me how to get the build orders, bro. Here are build orders suck. I don't have a text thing. I'm putting all these build orders that I'm doing. And like you can just go back and watch the word and see like what I'm doing and what why I'm doing it. I'm just explaining it. I'm gonna put all of these on YouTube. You can just follow along the build order. I don't have a text format thingy just yet.
Saladin!
Up, get the
Crusaders are attacking our trade
three
route!
important upgrades that you need. Get your arbalest, get your bracer, and get your chemistry, which will let you basically upgrade your arbalest, crossbow to arbalest, make a couple of trebuchets from your castle, and this army should be able to kill everything that your opponent is making. Once you're up, start seeding a little bit more farms because we want a second army composition to the existing army that you have. So we would like to add like a couple more farms while I'm going up. I'm gonna add stables as well as our secondary army composition. You want to have like something like arbalest and hussar in your army as the secondary unit. Just gonna treb like my opponent's castle with my trebs and get conscription once you have like a couple of trebs out. Keep making arbalest if you want to replace the numbers, and the next step is just to upgrade your cavalry and light cavalry so that like you have a secondary unit which does not cost gold and you can keep spamming if you have a lot of farms. So I'm just gonna upgrade all my cavalry. Once I have my light cav upgrade, then upgrade my hussar. And once you have hussar, like you can just keep spamming hussar in combination of your arbalest to overwhelm your opponent. This is the ultimate army composition that you would want. Yep. Once you have hussars and mix, this becomes a very hard army composition for your opponent to deal with. Just making like sure that you're producing from all your production buildings. Keep adding more stables, like something like 8 or 7 stables should be more than enough. And then just keep attacking your opponent once you're up. Yep. Stop making villages, something like around 125 villages, and basically upgrade your cavalry fully. Pick up relics as well in the late games, expand to the other hills, and take over the map while you're like building up. You can start sending more on stone so that you can make castles. Yeah, like those are the secondary objectives in late game. I'm talking about the base one, and all the other things are secondary. Not collecting relics, you can do that in mid game, but I'm talking about what are the most important opening things that you would want to do in Imperial Age. It's like better to get all of these done first before you worry about all the other things. Those are important as well. Collecting relics, taking over all the hills on the map, and fighting for map control against your opponent, going for an army composition that counters your opponent. Those are all important things, but those are secondary. First, you want to complete what your original build is before you worry about those things. But yeah, that's what the... Oh, rush with 3 militia units. That's actually an achievement. That's funny. So that was drush-flush.